world-famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway needs no introduction beyond that of its name. It might be as recognizable as auto racing itself. It was built as a proving ground for automotive manufacturers, with motorsports still fresh off the press as competition back in 1909. It wasn't until 1911 that it held its first and famous 500-mile race, but ever since, some of the world's most significant races have held court in the Hoosier State at the racing capital of the world. Hi, everybody. It is almost playoff time. Just 2 races remain in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series here in Indianapolis. The next week at Talladega, Alabama, Kyle Heyer joined by Hunter Sleppy and Connor Horn. Connor, welcome aboard. Indianapolis is always a fun racetrack in a stock car, especially these Pro Series cars. It was a great race last season with lots of different strategies playing out, but this year we've got a slightly shorter race, and that might change up some of the math a bit.
Yeah, it might change up some strategy, but we will still probably see some pretty crazy racing. We can't forget the 3 wide through turns number 1 and 2 that we saw last season. Cameron Hearn got the best of that battle. He took the checkered flag here in this series inaugural race at the Indianapolis Big Oval. It's going to be a crazy one as we look at the points picture. It's been all Connor Euroshak the last 2 weeks. 2 straight wins. Reminds me of when John Furness, I believe, went back-to-back after he got his first win. So he's got the momentum. He's sitting right next to Scioli in points. The only 2 multi-time winners this season. Nichols Theory and Richard Thomas locked in as well. Furness, Bell, Hearn, JT Poole all above the cut line, but after JT Poole and behind that, it's a dogfight. You got Bowie, Senesac, Greg Mitchell, Travis Beckner, and Clayton Montgomery only a point below. And there's also David Weishart with a win outside the top 20 who probably needs some help to get in, Hunter.
Without a doubt, needs some help to get in, but looking at that 20th spot, it's Alan Elwood up 1 spot after the mishap last week from Mason Kane and drops him outside the top 20. So Alan Elwood's in a good position right now. Him, Garrett Grant, even Justin Munsell. We know how close Munsell's been to winning. He finished 2nd here last season. Any of those guys get a win and stay in that top 20, Kyle, they're locked into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and of course with Talladega coming up next week, that is a massive wild card. I've been talking all season long about how this run-up to Talladega, you don't want to leave that as the race that you have to win because you can't control your own destiny there. You certainly can here, but it requires a bit of a nice touch. Now, one of the drivers that had the touch on Monday but got caught out by a badly timed caution was Hoosier David Weishart. 5th in practice here, Connor. He's got to hope that qualifying goes well for him and he can recoup the win that he might have had on Monday.
Yeah, he just got called out Monday night, and like I talked about, he's 27th in points. He is about 34 behind Elwood for that 20th position, so he has the win. That's the golden ticket if you're in the top 20, but he's probably going to need at least another win, definitely probably 2 straight top 3s in a row to get into the top 20 to make that win count. But either way, even playoffs aside, he's looking to get a win in his home state. He's been so close in multiple series, but he's going to have to beat Cameron Hearn, the most recent winner here. I think he led 48 of 80 laps last season, made that crazy 3-wide move, got the checkered flag. He's looking to go back-to-back.
Yeah, looking to be the first, well, not Hearn, but Weishart looking to be the first in the NNA to win in the Pro Series, which Blaze McKinney did so Monday night in a wonderful fashion, Kyle. I mean, everything about that was perfect. And Weishart looked like he had a better car in the Cup race, but got caught up in some drama after some poorly untimed cautions from the Cup Series field. But we'll see if he can do that tonight, but he's got to beat the 4 of Hearn to do so.
Yeah, he needs that redemption. That was a heartbreaking situation for him on Monday. Just got buried in traffic, was never really able to recover. So we'll see what he's got. Cameron Hearn works his way through his qualifying effort. We should mention it is a full field tonight, very nearly 40 cars on tap for qualifying as Hearn goes for a big slide out of turn 2. Good time to look at the weather. It's not as hot as it could be, Connor, but it's not cool by any stretch.
Definitely not cool, and it's going to affect your exits out of the corner. You only get 1 lap in qualifying, so that's probably going to kill Hearn and put him maybe farther down the order than he wants to be, which is going to be tough to win if you're not starting at the front here. Trying to look at where he started 5th last season and came to win, as he's just going to shut it down and take his losses.
Going to do so and call it there. So we'll see what the rest of the field can do in qualifying. Having a good bit of drivers not qualify on Monday. Thought it was surprising, but one driver who will qualify for sure is the 12 of Connor Euroshak on a hot streak.
Yeah, he's really kind of getting into the rhythm at the right time and gearing up with a handful of victories. Heading into the playoffs, he will certainly be a contender here. We'll see what he's got as far as qualifying is concerned. He's just starting his qualifying effort now. Matthew Bell, Chris Rabel, Garrett Grant, and Jeffrey Wilson, the first drivers to put a time on the board. Ben Pierce goes up to second place. Let's see what Justin Anasogak's got here as he works his way through turns 1 and 2 here.
Matthew Bell, no slouch at this track either. He actually got third last season. Really close to the wall there for, I believe that was Euroshack. But yeah, we watched 43 tonight, no doubt about it. That was actually the 80 Justin Anasogak. It seems like everyone's having trouble on the exit turn number 2. Greg Mitchell, fastest currently, as we got about 10 times in right now. There's not much science to qualifying here. You just want to get those left sides below that white line, really. Don't hit the curb or grass. That'll kill you. But get as low as you can, you'll have a fast lap. Anasogak's a little higher than normal. We have seen a higher lane the past on Monday night kind of come in and actually be racy. We might see that tonight. It's kind of what contributed to the 3 wide we saw last season as well. As Anasogak crosses the line, he's going to go up to 6th for the time being.
Connor Euroshack goes third quick there, Hunter. But with such a big field, we know qualifying is pretty critical here. I feel like track position is also something to contend with. It certainly was on Tuesday night with the Truck Series, but we did see quite a bit of maneuverability in the early moments of starts and restarts on Monday, but once the field got spread out, it was a challenge to pass it at Indianapolis.
Yeah, tire wear is going to be a major concern here, as we saw Monday night. Probably going to be the same tonight, and that's why it's so valuable, track position is, that you need a good qualifying spot. I mean, look at Nico Garcia. We only got 10 cars up, but he's ahead of the 12 of Euroshack, and he's so close to getting in on points, but needs that win in order to do so. You look at JT Poole, and his best qualifying effort from Nico Garcia was 9th this season. That was all the way back at Las Vegas, so if he gets inside the top 10 here, it'll be huge for him.
Down the back straightaway goes JT Poole, looking calm, cool, and collected. And gearing up for the run down the back straightaway. Speeds will be over 190 off into turn 3. JT will get to 191 and then down into the mid to low 150s through the corner. Connor, we should expect to see quite a bit of tire wear tonight, especially with that track temp. Even with the cloudy skies, it's still going to wear out that right front tire a ton.
I would think so. I think we'll see maybe a little bit more than we saw Monday night. We saw, I felt more than I thought I would on Monday night. It wore out so much to the point where it was really hard to save fuel, which is what a lot of us are trying to do to make it a 1-stop. That won't be the case tonight. We'll see 2 stops as JT Poole. I don't think he was very happy with that time, but he does go. I think he's unhappy that he went 1,000th slower than Greg Mitchell, but either way, he's at the front. But yeah, I think we'll see more tire wear. It's just how the Xfinity car is. These right fronts get absolutely obliterated, so you're going to have to be very, very careful making your passes and trying to push hard to get track position. If you don't have it in qualifying, you got to be careful about your tires.
We'll see what the 33 of Weishart can do. He was definitely the car to beat Monday night, and then caution came at an inopportune time in the middle of pit strategy, and that just set him back for the rest of the race, and couldn't get up there, had some damage towards the end of that one, but see what he can do here. And I think that's pole time for the 33.
Sure
Home field advantage, and this is, again, what...
he just got beat by Bowie.
Bowie by a lot.
Wow, by 51 thousandths, and Weishart had his provisional pole snubbed away before...
For 3 seconds.
Yeah, he even could enjoy it. That stinks.
It's big for Brandon Bowie. He's just inside that cut line by maybe 7 points, so he needs a good run tonight. Eric Weiland going to put a time down. He is 29th in points, not a very realistic factor for getting to the playoffs, but anything can happen when you go to Talladega. But he's got to get a good run here tonight just to keep things on track as he's coming through 3 and 4. He gets so close to the wall in the middle of the corners here, middle of the 2 sets of turns, I guess you could say here, but it's so easy to lose your bearings and hit that wall entering into 3. I've done it in 4. I've done it so many times as he'll come across the line. And his lap, where does that put him? Just outside the top 10, 15th.
Yeah, averages about 21st with the starting position. Hasn't been able to get good finishes. Has 1 top 10 that occurred on the Charlotte Roval, but yeah, gonna need a lot to happen if he wants to have a shot at the playoffs.
Look at James Scioli. By the way, Shane Therian went second quick in that number 9. Split the difference between Weishart and Bowie. Bowie still leads provisional pole by about 0.04 of a second. Jake Nichols and James Scioli are both making their laps. Nichols goes up to the top at a 52.729 by 0.2 of a second. How did he do that?
I mean, we saw 52.7s. He was actually the only one to put a 52.7 down in practice, and he just backed it up and went that much faster, exactly 0.2 of a second faster than Brandon Bowie on the ticker there. We'll see if Scioli has any answer for that.
Coming through, will he dethrone the 73 of Nichols for the pole? Oh, no, not quite. P5, though.
Slaughter and Beckner second and third.
Yeah, I wonder if the weather has cooled off a bit. It has.
It is.
8 degrees cooler since the drop of the green flag. It all owes down to that the cloudy skies that we've got. John Furness is making a late effort here as well. Casey Licata, Spencer Brown, and Eugenio Alonso also on track. Licata goes 10th. Furness might have something here for the top spot, though.
Yeah, the neon yellow numbers, a little bit different from what I'm used to seeing on this 28, but we'll see what he can do. Exceptionally, he was pretty fast last season. Never really had race-winning speed. He was pretty much on a different strategy all last race. He did lead 17 laps because of that, but needs better track position to try to fight for this win tonight. Started second last season, couldn't seal the deal, as he's as low as he can go in turn 4, even sliding the rear out a little bit over the curbing.
And through, will he be able to dethrone Jake Nichols for the pole, as Slaughter is now up to second?
No, not even.
Going to be fourth.
Yeah, not on the front row even, so he'll go P4. Spencer Brown is the last of the qualifiers here in the 95, like that livery, and across the stripe for him. Yeah, 169.3 miles an hour, 38th for the 95.
Thankfully, no one going home. 42 even cars in this field, all the way from provisional pole sitter, and likely he's going to be the pole sitter, Jake Nichols, all the way back to Cameron Hearn, who ends up being the only one not to put a time down. So he won last season, but it is going to be so tough in 75 laps to get back to the front.
Last, the first challenge for Cameron Hearn, giving himself a little bit of a challenge here tonight at Indianapolis.
Yeah, certainly, and looking down the rest of the order really briefly here before we turn on over to the next session. There is 42 cars in this field. This is about as full as it's going to get without being actually full. So I'm looking forward to what should be a really interesting race. But as we saw on Monday, the aggression level could get high after the initial start and restart. So that is what we'll have to keep our eyes on. As qualifying is complete, that will put Jake Nichols and Brad Slaughter Jr. on the front row. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise at the price of just $5 a month. That's twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Session is complete, and we'll move on over to a brief warm-up before we turn them loose for 75 laps here. Last year, Connor, the race was 80 laps. How does that 5-lap reduction change any strategy, or is it basically just try to split this race into thirds again?
I think you'll just try to split this race into thirds. It was really, you had to save a lot to even get the lap 40 in the Cup race on Monday, and that's with you have a much bigger fuel cell in those Cup cars. You don't have as much fuel in these Xfinity Series cars, so I don't think you're going to have any shot at making it the lap. What it would be about lap 38 you'd want to get to split it in the halfway. So I think we'll see drivers maybe stretch the fuel just in case, maybe try to catch a yellow at certain points, but I think we'll see majority of the front runners go conservative, just try a two-stop as just note a very quick tidbit, just a quick fun fact. That's actually Jake Nichols' first pole this season.
Really?
In the Pro Series, yeah. He has not gotten a pole yet this season until today.
That is a fun fact indeed. Well, it is a pretty stacked field here tonight, so let us have a look at our starting grid right after this. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. You got to start your day like you start a race here with some Roasted Gems coffee. Kick things off here with the starting lineup. It is a very full field, so let's start running through it now. On the front row, it's going to be Jake Nichols with that first pole. As you mentioned, Connor, Brad Slaughter Jr. starts alongside him in second.
And then right behind the number 20 is going to be the number 27 of Travis Beckner. He starts third after he finished third on Tuesday night. John Furness alongside him will start fourth.
Brandon Bowie rolls off fifth in his number 23 Toyota Supra. James Scioli sixth in the number 7.
Shane Therian in 7th, locked in via his win at Charlotte. David Weishart, 27th in points with a win. Needs a lot of help to get into the playoffs. He'll start 8th tonight.
And starting in 9th place, it's Bryce Senesac in the 09 Toyota. Alan Elwood rolls off 10th in the number 10.
Keith Lakatos is in the playoffs currently in the Cup Series. Not the same story in the Pro Series, but he'll start 11th tonight. Greg Mitchell, who's made the Final Four in the Pro Series, starts 12th.
In 13th place, it's JT Poole in the number 26. Nico Garcia starts 14th in the number 41.
The back-to-back winner and the most recent winner on the series, Connor Yaroshak, he'll start 15th tonight alongside the 64 of Ed Robertson.
And 17th place, it's Bronson Stafford in the number 61 and Julio Villalobos Jr. in 18th in the 78 car.
Coca-Cola Chevrolet Camaro, that's Alex Weaver, recognizable 62 all season long. In 19th, Matthew Bell finished 3rd here last season, will start back in 20th.
And 21st place, it's Eric Wineland in the number 66 Toyota. Justin Anisogak starts 22nd in the number 88 Toyota.
Richard Thomas will start 23rd in his number 37. He's locked in via his win at Daytona to start the season. Ben Pierce alongside him in 24th.
And 25th place, it's the number 49 of Danny Ware in his Chevrolet Camaro. Jeremy Miller rolls off 26th in the number 30.
Brett Pine Miller is going to be his teammate Delonte Ballard starting 27th. Matco Tools Toyota Supra. Shane Abbey in the 84 Body Armor Camaro starts 28th.
And 29th place, it's Jordan Martin in the number 38. Alex Bell starts 30th in the number 15.
Chris Rabel looking for some better runs here. He'll start 31st tonight alongside Michael Muhammad, who's making his return to the series in his Dr. Pepper 77.
33rd place is Brody Falliker in the 42. Eugenio Alonso 34th in the number 86.
Ironman Garrett Grant 35th qualifying position tonight. Joey Chapman going to be alongside him in his Supra 36th place.
37th place, Justin Munsell in the number 6, still looking for luck somewhere. Maybe the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, maybe. Spencer Brown starts 38th in the number 95.
39th place will be Steve Durham in his Grid Life branded Toyota Supra, and Jeffrey Wilson in his Camaro will be alongside him in 40th.
Oh, how about a look at that? And behind them, it's Clayton Montgomery in the number 45. Cameron Hearn starts 42nd at the tail of the field in the number 4 Ford, and that is the entire starting lineup. All right, guys, let's pick our favorites. I'm going to have to go with the driver that was owed one on Monday. David Weishart wins this race from 8th.
With all due respect, I don't think you're owed anything in racing, so I don't think a 33 is going to be able to do it. But I think a lot of drivers in the top 10 are capable. I'll go John Furness. I think he'll have the long run speed to do it. He starts 4th.
It'll be boring. I'm going to go Jake Nichols.
This is why I get
team, it works for me.
I should just pick the boring picks every time.
Pick my drivers. I'm fine with it.
All right.
My driver, technically.
And the pace car is going to make that hard left onto pit lane. Every driver in iRacing or otherwise wants to win at the Yard of Bricks. This is a special racetrack. It's one that I've gotten the pleasure of announcing at in real life. Not on the oval just yet, but green flag flies and we're racing at the Brickyard. Already Scioli looking 3 wide up the main straightaway. Beckner slots into 3rd place into turn 1, and it's a frantic getaway at the Yard of Bricks through the first corner.
Ooh, Beckner's leaning on Furness through turn number 1. They door again out of turn number 1. I almost want to say turn 2. This is Indy. It's not turn 2, as they're going to stay door to door. They're going to make more contact. They're not giving an inch right now. This is how important this 3rd position is. Furness wants to keep it. Beckner's trying to take it from him as they're almost still hitting each other down the straightaway.
Going into turn 3 now, Beckner's going to keep that nose on the inside of Furness. Got to make him go wide in turn 3. Weishart, though, on the outside of Scioli, looking for 5th as they roll into turn 4.
Up 3 spots, that 33 is on the opening lap. That outside lane didn't seem to hurt him. Just behind him in that teal and black car is the 23 of Brandon Bowie. Scioli going the wrong direction here early as Shane Therian sized him up as well. But line astern, the first 5 or 6 cars. Still some double wide in the way back. There's the 66 of Wineland, but Scioli still looking at 6th here into turn 1.
Yeah, and that middle, if you're stuck on the bottom, you're not too stuck here. The draft is so strong in side drafting in the cup cars where it's going to be a different type of race. But still holding it in. Gosh, that was tight. These guys are all over each other in the background. This is for about 35th position still.
Spencer Brown, the 95 there again to get a bit of that. And then the 60 of Joey Chapman as well as back up front. Here comes Bowie looking to the inside of Weishart. It's underneath Beckner. Almost making contact there, but Bowie going to tuck in behind the 27.
That was a bit tight quarters racing there. Bowie is on a mission here early and knocks Weishart back 1 position. All the while Nichols is pulling away. This is not a race that you want to give a guy like Nichols room, Connor, because if he gets away, he can control this race. If this race goes green, he can play all the strategies he wants to play, And we know how that goes when Nichols gets a big lead.
Yeah, we've seen all the time in the Cup Series. Now coming to the Pro Series to do so, as Bowie cannot make an attempt. He can't complete the attempt to pass on Beckner, but yeah, if that 73 gets out there and he's able to keep his tires on it, not have to battle anyone, it's going to be game over without some crazy strategies, some crazy things happening in today's race. Because when he's on fire, you cannot stop him, as everyone else is still battling hard in the background. This is Richard Thomas, a Daytona winner, locked into the playoffs, still trying to battle for some better points positions. This is for 21st on Villalobos, and Justin Anasogak, his Midnight Energy Super, just trying to stick it to the inside and kind of steal a position here. If you can see how tight it is when you go side by side here.
You know, Mo with Danny Ware looking in the inside of the 78 for 23rd now. Going to make it, thought about making it 3 wide, but the 88 backed off a little bit too much through the turn. Got to settle in line, and there's a car to the outside, Jeremy Miller, trying to work on the 49.
Things tightened up there. That was a door that was closing, and that was smart by 49 to back out of that. The 88 just threw it in there. There's going to be contact.
That's a crash.
Oh, no. Horrible crash out of turn 1, and there's 3, 4, 5 cars in it, and the 88 just got absolutely body slammed into the outside wall.
Cameron Hearn, he's in it as well, destroyed. Alex Bell sitting there. Gosh, it's the whole back of the field.
This is the flagman, Travis Beckner, running in 4th, displaying the yellow flag as he does so at his local racetrack. But you saw right there, Kyle, on the semi-market replay, just the slightest bit of contact is all it takes, and it happened at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, this was a nasty wreck here. Let's have another look at it. The 88 dives in here. He just tried to clear the 78 and just didn't.
Yeah, there's nothing else to really say. He just drove it in way too hard, did not really come close to clear, and then nothing Villalobos can do. And Villalobos, Danny Ware, Ballard, Miller, Jordan Martin. That was pretty wild, as Miller's not happy with the 78. I don't know.
I think he's got to see the replay probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what he could do. They just, yeah. Where's Cameron Hearn got destroyed in this, and he came from the back to getting that. But, you know, it's kind of a track blocker, so get a view of what everyone else could see here. That took out at least 8 cars, I would think.
He's right in the middle. He's passing everybody. I don't think he can really see. Well, there's not much he could have done here.
Oh, it's Garrett Grant. Oh, and then just kind of runs out of room and slams the 30 of Miller.
I think we need to look from get more of an aerial view of all this, because there was just so many cars involved in this that we need to kind of. Gosh, that was huge. Delonte Ballard.
That's got to be the biggest crash I've seen out of turn 1 here. I'm sure I've seen other crashes pretty big here, but you do not usually wreck that hard out of turn number 1.
No, this is that might be the worst angle that you could get. And who was that carved their way through in the Dr. Pepper car?
That would be none other than Michael Muhammad.
Michael Muhammad, welcome back to the series.
I suppose so. Let's ride on board with him. He got quite the view of it.
With all due respect, he's not accustomed to getting through these, but gets on the binders nicely. There's still, Alex Bell's still wrecking, and he gets through. It's a really good job.
Justin Munsell on the 6 back there, too, had a good view of that as he was trying to work his way from the back to the front.
And he got out of it. Looks like no damage. By the way, Justin Anasogak did get the EOL. Not that it matters. He was the first one to unregister from the race. And Cameron Hearn did get a warning for ARCA braking. Lack of a better term, ARCA braking.
Yeah, it's probably borderline on that one for me, but some of the drivers have pit, others have not. And you can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. Those with a 0 have not yet pit. Those with a 1 have. Bowie, Therian, Lakatos, Mitchell, Garcia, Weaver, Thomas, Muhammad, and Montgomery are all going to stay out on the racetrack. Big yellow, and as Travis Beckner
still waving it.
Still waving. Is he a flagman in his local track? Is that what?
I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
He needs a red flag for that. I mean, we've seen enough red flags on SimTV anyways, but in real life, that's a 2-hour stoppage to clean all that up, as his arm's going to be tire-tied if that keeps up. But interesting. We kind of saw this on Tuesday night at IRP. I think we had about 9 or 10 that stayed out. David Weissart got out of pit road first. He took 2 tires.
Interesting to try 2 tires. I think he did that a week or so ago. Trying out a different strategy early on, and I think it was Homestead. Tried out 2 tires, or wanted to see if that would work towards the end, but it's good to start early with these different strategies, Kyle.
Yeah, I always am recommending, if you're going to try a two-tire stop at any point, give it a try earlier. Travis, he's committed to the pit. He was still holding it up. Oh, he's got the green in hand. Look at him go. This is great.
No, that's not how you do it. You do that with the yellow flag for the one to go, not the green. But it works either way, as we'll get the one to green regardless of whether or not the right flag is being used, as Weishart will be the first one on neat tires, but like we said, only 2 tires. Jake Nichols did get out first, normal 4-tire strategy. I'm just trying to look at who's left and who's not left in this race after that. Looks like Bell, Miller, Danny Ware, Anna Sogak, Villalobos, and they might be the only 5 to be completely out of this race. I don't know how the 4 of Cameron Hearn's still running, but he is. Shane Abbey's getting repairs on pit road. Trying to see, are there any playoff drivers, points-wise, in that? I don't think there really were. So fortunate for all those guys, especially Justin Munsell. I think he was the biggest one to get through that one, because that was incredible that he didn't get damage out of that.
Hendry County Motorsports Park in Florida is where Travis is a flagman.
Yeah, I'm going to advise him to not try and wave the green flag on the restart as he's trying to shift through the gears. That would not be a wise idea.
They hit in the background. I think Bryce Senesek and Eric Weiland almost wrecked each other in turn 3 under yellow. They kept it straight. No one spun, thankfully. We've seen enough of that.
All right, so pace car is going to peel off after a big crash involving 7 cars. It takes out a handful of vehicles at the beginning. Here comes the green flag from Barney the Flagman, and we're back underway at Indianapolis.
A lot of weaving there, as Furness is going to be the first one to duck 3 wide. Jake Nichols is going to block that advancement, as looks like Munsell and a few others got really stacked up back there.
Look out, middle of the field, the 64, Robertson into Elwood. Another big pileup out of turn 1.
And Euroshak's in it. There's still no yellow. Now Euroshak's going to spin in Elwood. Now the caution's out. JT Poole's in it. Season of horror continues for Alan Elwood.
Got it ready.
Back out to
Go ahead, Travis, wave it. Wait.
Not sure he's got the audio plugged in. Either way, another wreck out of turn 1. This restart was just frantic. Let's go back all the way to it, Connor, and take me through this restart here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some people. Brandon Bowie kind of spun the tires too, and he did not get going. It caused a bunch of stack-ups. That's why Furness will take it 3, and Nichols goes to block it. Now they're 3 wide with the 64 in the middle. And him and, looks like Beckner came together, and Elwood had nowhere to go in that. Then it's just another track blocker as Euroshak gets it. Matthew Bell, maybe some damage. JT Poole gets involved late. Joey Chapman. It just, 3 wide at Indy, it's hard to do, especially in a big pack. That was Cameron Hearn, who I think hit the wall trying to avoid it late, but we'll look at that later. But yeah, just nowhere to go for the 60 late there, and just looked like, I don't know if Beckner really came down even. I think Robertson just got caught in the middle on this. Here comes Cameron Hearn.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a reason why he got the warning for ARCA brake.
Might get another if they saw that. But like I said, season of horror continues. Alan Elwood, just nothing much going his way this season.
Oh, JT almost had it missed. He actually spun out, just locking up the tires to avoid crashing. Look at him weaving, throwing the car around to try to stop. He was doing everything he could do, and I think he went backwards before he even contacted the 10. Look at that. And there's some help from the 60. Gosh, he did all that he could do and still got into it. And that's just a second track blocker of the night. Guys, that restart was probably too wild for lap 8. Wouldn't you agree?
I would think so, but I don't think anyone necessarily could do much about it. When there's such a big stack up in front of you, if you lift, you're going to get passed, and there's no gentleman's agreement. If someone lifts, they're going to stay behind you. They're just going to try to pass you. So John Furness was the first one to make it 3 wide, but if he lifts bad there, if he lifts completely out of it, he's going to get passed by 4 or 5 cars. So that's just kind of how it happens when you have such a big wheel spin moment at the front with Bowie and Therian. I mean, neither of them really went, as they have given that EOL to Travis Beckner.
Really?
As others come down the pit road. Yeah,
I have to look at that again.
Take another look at that.
Yeah, I think we will. While they're in pit stops here, a little surprised by that. So let's.
No front runners came, anyways.
Let's slow this down a bit more here.
Ed Robertson was furious on the radio.
Oh, you know what? Maybe they're right.
He does come down a little bit. Furness, I don't think Furness pit, but he did get a door. Look at Scioli just barely getting through.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, now that you look at it again, I mean, just watch the trajectories here of these two cars. I mean, this is really borderline, I would say, but the 28 gets the 73. Robertson, watch that with a crease that he's on, and then Beckner is coming left. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it from that angle, I can't disagree. And there's the black. He's got the whole flag. There must be a word for the flag amalgamation. You know, like a what would you call that? A cluster? A cluster of flags?
Sure,
Flag
we'll
cluster?
go with that. I don't know what else to say. I didn't know you could bring those flags home. It's good to know.
I think you can. I think a lot of flaggers own their own sets. From what
That makes
I
a lot
understand.
more. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So, 9 pit 9. Looks like he cut out there, but that's going to change some things. Now Beckner has to go back to front and try to avoid potential chaos. We've already seen a lot of incidents at the back happen. A lot of craziness, especially as this yard of bricks has already gotten to work out, and we are just barely completing 10 laps.
For those that don't know, who have never been to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it surprised me to learn that that yard of bricks runs pretty much all the way into the center of the racetrack. It runs through underneath the pagoda all the way back to Gasoline Alley. And you walk across it behind pit lane and all the way up onto the racetrack. I didn't know that. I thought it was just effectively the start-finish line, but nope, it basically bisects the track all the way through.
So we'll get the 1 to green here. Still the top 8 yet to pit. A number of drivers looks like they got lapped while pitting. Munsell was one of those, and looks like Euroshak and JT Poole all got lapped. Honestly, it's kind of surprising. You usually pay attention to where the pace car is, but I've never seen 3 drivers actually make that mistake. Now it's going to be a dogfight for the lucky dog with those 3, I would think.
Well, this is looking like last year's race where the last yellow was about around mid-60s in laps left. So this one was 68 to go. And then we had a green flag run to the finish and some different strategies throughout the rest of the race. So it's looking a little similar towards that, but the ranks have been larger, though. The yellows have been more than what I anticipated, as we've got, I see 5 cars already out of the race, and still, I think Danny Ware's out too, so that might be 6. But you'll never know. We're still not even a quarter of the way done, Kyle.
Yeah, so from what's out right now, it's Ed Robertson, Elwood, Villalobos Jr., and Asogak, Ware, Miller, and Bell. We started this race with 42. We've got 35 runners. Connor Urashak is the last of them. 3 cars are 1 lap down. Brandon Bowie is the control car in that teal and black number 23. And back underway, lap 12. Green flag back in the air to Indianapolis.
Bowie got away that time, so maybe this will be a little cleaner, but Weishardt's going to take it 3 wide to the bottom under Muhammad, and I believe Clayton Montgomery's on the top. So he'll make that work on fresher rubber and get by them before the entrance to 2, as they'll be side by side for 3rd. Licata's going to get 2nd.
We had a bunch
saw a lot of drivers blink out at the same time.
That was weird. I know that I think it was Michael Muhammad said that he might blink and that he would voluntarily bail out, but that was a whole bunch of drivers.
That was 5 or 6.
Does that happen on your end too there, Connor?
Yeah, that was a lot of drivers at the same time. I think it was Muhammad, Wineland. I don't know. I've seen a lot of drivers. Looking at the drivers whose quality dropped.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Every time I see a lot of cars like that, I always wonder if it's me, but I'm glad to hear it's not.
No, that was odd. But either way, it seems like it hasn't caused anything yet. Bowie has gotten a pretty big lead out of that.
Yeah, almost a second over Licata's, who's trying to keep Shane Tyrion at bay. He's closed up on his bumper. But there's the gap you see between the 23 and the 50 as Licata's bringing the Congo line into 22.
Yeah, much tidier restart other than the 3 wide there with David Weishart. Here's Matthew Bell in the 43. And now single file again down the backstretch. This is lap click-off territory now. 2 big wrecks to start the race. I think everyone realizes that it's not going to go very well if that keeps happening. They need to get some laps to kind of learn what their car is going to do over the course of the run and to plan their attack for the rest of the race. This has kind of re-dissipated the field here a bit. That qualifying didn't matter all that much because we've had pit stops, 2 for some drivers, 1 for others, and none for more still. Most of the top 10 have still yet to make a pit stop, and those that have, the first that has is David Weishart in that 33, but he's only on 2 tires, Colin.
still working out all right for him, I suppose. He is still the driver furthest up on any sort of new tires. In fact, he's got a pretty big gap to the next driver, who's Brad Slaughter. When I say big, I mean 2 positions in between him. As Delonte Bowder, some damage, kind of lingering in the 20th position. Actually, he was in that crash, but the car looks repaired at this point. What this also might have done is maybe change strategy with some of those drivers who took fuel with around 65 to go. They might be in territory to maybe try to make it on fuel. It's going to be, we're going to have to wait a while to see if that actually happens.
Our car stopped at the exit of turn 2 down there? Or no, that's just a tire bundle. Doesn't that look like a car down there? Gosh.
From afar,
it does kind of look like a car.
I had to go and see if there was any cars.
I'll say, ask Kozlowski what that looks like.
Yeah. He got a good view of it.
I was just trying to make sure that there was no cars unaccounted for. Clayton Montgomery in the 45. The outside of John Furness, Brad Slaughter Jr. in that number 8 with the neon roof number, and right behind neon side numbers on that 28 car.
This was a good strategy play from Montgomery. He started 41st position, did not pit. I don't believe he has pit yet. And he came into tonight 1 point below the cut line, so he needs any sort of points to at least have some sort of comfort going into Talladega. You're never comfortable going into there, but at least help out a little bit. I believe right now he's outrunning the 0.9 and the 2. He's definitely outrunning the 0.9, but Greg Mitchell is ahead of him, so right now maybe gaining on that cut.
Yeah, Senesac all over the bumper of Scioli there. In the 7, these guys are trying to work their way through the field, and you see the 0.9 of Senesac there in the sim. Camera on the bottom right, 15th currently, but had a bad finish last week. Gonna need some more points to go on his side this weekend. Just going to have to survive Talladega, but nonetheless, still fighting 15th.
I really like driving this racetrack with this car. I think there's a rhythmic nature to it that you just kind of get into it here. But it's so lane-specific. Car in the wall ahead. That's Montgomery.
Well, 2 drivers in the wall. Nico Garcia hit it where I was looking. I think Montgomery did clip it as he actually held off Jake Nichols for a set of corners, but hit the wall in doing so. He might just give this to the 73 now instead of fighting it. We've seen this go bad before, but the 73 makes that work this time around.
Side by side now, the 7 on the outside of the 0.9, and then behind him you got Bronson Stafford and the 43 and Matthew Bell door to door as well. Again, dicey here in the mid-pack. Those guys are trying to get all they can in the spot now, especially when you're in the back trying to fight for a playoff spot.
Brandon Bowie leads the way by 1 second, Connor, and pulling away. So keeping an eye on our tire wear slide, the 37.
Oh, he's going to into the wall, and it's happened again for David Weishart. Joey Chapman spins 65 or 80. Oh, Euroshack. A lot of drivers spinning to avoid it, but 33 that gets the worst end of it.
Gosh. His luck this week has been non-existent.
Gosh. Doesn't look horrible, but definitely not good. He might be able to repair it and try to climb back through the field. Him and Richard Thomas made little contact out of 1. I thought Weishart was going to be able to get around him, but it wasn't him. It was Weaver and Thomas that made contact, and then they kind of came together into the corner.
Yeah, so here's that 62 and 37 you were talking about right here.
Some contact, and then
more.
That looked like Richard Thomas just kind of didn't turn in. That's what I thought happened. Weishart hit driver's side hard. A number of drivers went through the grass to avoid it, but you see his trajectory into the corner from this angle. You can see how much room was under the 37. Then he overcorrects, and Weishart's the innocent bystander and all that. If we get another view, I don't know if Hunter will agree or not, but it just looked like there's a lot of room Richard Thomas could have used to his inside that he didn't here. But they have called it on Alex Weaver.
Really? Man. I'm looking at that.
Yeah, it seems like there's a good bit of room right where Muhammad entered the turn. That's about where the 37 of Richard Thomas was. But there's definitely at least a car length below him that he could have used going into the turn. And how unfortunate is it for Weishart at his home track twice in the same week?
It's a
perplexing one.
Yeah, because Weishart's following Weaver in the turn. That's about the 2nd or 3rd lane up.
And then the 60.
I think he got turned. I think there was a little of a stack up trying to avoid it.
Yeah, couple cars down there.
I think he got bumped from Steve Durham. The 85 and 12 spun on their own, trying to avoid the 37, but it'll open up more strategy. And this is almost definitely put us into a one-stop scenario with a lot of drivers coming down this time. Brandon Bowie missed his stall badly. He might not come out first because of that. Here comes Cameron Hearn, the modified division.
Yeah, that car has seen better days. So we're mixing up the strategy a bunch. About 9 cars did not come to pit lane. Maybe 10. I don't think Wineland just came down. So 10 cars stay out. Wineland has made 2 stops. He's got 4 lap fresher tires than the 9 cars ahead of him, but they only have about 13 on there. We're only on lap 19, guys, so there's still a lot of racing left to go. But everyone from 11th on back has come, and everybody has put 4 tires on from 11th on back.
I mean, the tires did look like they mattered. Even the first yellow when the 33 and the 73 and everyone at the front came down for tires. I mean, it seemed like it mattered a little bit. They were making time up, but it was still slow progress. It's still so hard to pass at a track like Indianapolis. This will be... We've had a lot of yellow. I don't know if this will be as effective as a tire advantage this time, but either way, those drivers like the 23, they'll have to try to make it work as we're working caution number 3. We're going to be working leader number 3 because Brandon Bowie, Jake Nichols were our first 2 leaders. Slaughter will restart in the lead with Furness, Nichols, Scioli, and Senesac the top 5. Then be the 3rd leader of the race as David Weishart repairs damage and just tries to think what else could go wrong, really, because it's been a disaster this week.
Oh, power could go out. That could be the worst
Don't wish that
case.
evil on him, Hunter.
I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying it could,
Bobby.
I'm just saying it could get worse. That's the worst they could probably get for him. Is if
Well, I'd rather have the power out because I'd have no damage when I get back into session.
Yeah. Fair point.
Damage is done at this point.
Either way, Brad Slaughter Jr. was going to cycle to the lead here. John Furness be alongside him, and it's Jake Nichols and Scioli. They're going to cycle back up to the front where they started. So, again, redistributing the strategy, and qualifying ended up not really mattering tonight because we've spread the field
all
out.
over the place.
Mixed everybody up with strategy again.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have retirements out of that. There were no really big hits. I mean, Richard Thomas did hit the wall with the rear end pretty hard, but he will be able to run as we still have the original 6 that were out still out. Robinson is back on track. 3 drivers a lap down. Shane Abbey, I think, don't even know who got the lucky dog there, but JT Poole, Connor Yarashak still a lap down, and Robinson 3 down. As bigger attrition rate than I thought we would have tonight, and we're still just barely past the quarter mark.
Coming back to the restart here in just a moment. We'll be restarting lap 21, almost 1/3 done, and already had a lot of action here.
Here we go. Again, no restart zone here.
Yeah, green flag, and we're back underway. Slaughter gets away nicely. Jake Nichols got a great run from that second row, and so did Scioli. Furness got caught sleeping there, Connor.
Yeah, he did. I don't think anyone expected the 8 to go that early, but no restart zone here, so you can go whenever that pace car goes off. Old style iRacing rules without those Geico restart zones that everyone seems to really hate. Slaughter keeps the lead. Nichols, Furness, Scioli follow in as Furness tries to keep 3rd from the 7, which he will do.
Nichols going to poke out, get a little bit of clean air underneath that 73 before heading into turn 3, as Scioli now going to settle in behind the 28 of Furness, but still looking to take 3rd away. Senesac sitting comfortably in 5th as the guys work their way to turn 4.
Great sounds right up on the concrete retaining wall, back onto the front straightaway a lap after the restart. Eric Wineland making a pass on Brandon Bowie. Shane Therian and Jordan Martin are side by side for 8th place. This is going to get pretty racy down here into turn 1.
Here, I'm going to have this spot. He's on fresh tires, as is Brandon Bowie. He's got to charge to the outside. Man, he drove it into turn number 1. And he got to the outside of Theron. This is the battle for control over, as far as the fresh driver tires are concerned, as Bowie's going to get control, almost door Delonte Ballard, but what a charge through turn 1 that was.
Still working along the outside of the 21, going into turn 3. Might have the spot here. He's just going to send it in on the outside with the fresher tires. Steering right behind him, going to send it in, trying to get around the 21 for 8th. And behind them, they're almost side by side. Door banging for 10th. That's Eric Wineland and Jordan Martin.
This is getting a bit frisky back here with the 66 and the 38. Casey Lakatos, Greg Mitchell's back here as well. They're both going to move over behind the 66, and they're back to single file racing.
Single file all the way throughout really the top about 14. Then it's Travis Beckner recovering from his EOL, going for the 15th position on Garrett Grant. There's a little 2x2, 3 rows deep with the 527 leading that train. Then Wineland up the track. Case Lakatos gets through him, also on new tires. At the front, Brad Slaughter Jr. still leading the 73 of Nichols, but the 73 is right on his tail, pretty much shoving him into the corners.
Could be a strategy game as 5th is swapped between Brandon Bowie and Bryce Senesac. Kyle, Monday night we saw guys leading, and then they were just letting this car in 2nd go and drop back so they could save fuel. Feels like we might be on a long run here, and the 73 Nichols trying to do that, but Bowie still charging through the top 5, and now as soon as I say that, here comes Nichols to the inside for the lead.
Yeah, I wonder how much we're going to be trying to save fuel because it's a one-stop race from here. Maybe there's a strategy where that makes sense, but I feel like right now everyone's going out for it. Brennan Bowie in particular on those fresh tires, he has been making hay with those fresh Goodyears on this car. He is absolutely flying to the outside of the 28. He is not waiting around for anybody.
Whoa, wow, Therian just really shoved the 09 of Senesac up the track in turn 2. They kept it straight, but that was almost a crazy, another crash type of moment, but Senesac's gonna lose spots out of that. But these drivers who just pit are probably in the best situation. They pit around lap 18. They're likely in a spot where they can make it on one more stop, while the leaders maybe more of a question mark. Plus, the fresh rubber might get them a big advantage on track if this goes green. So Brandon Bowie, Shane Therian, they're in a great spot right now if this does go green, as there goes Therian for about the 4th position. As he's charging, as Bowie goes for 2nd. Therian went for 5th, actually.
And now here comes Bowie to the inside, side by side for the lead into turn 1. Nichols going to allow the 23 to go on and set sail. New leader, Brandon Bowie, to the lead on lap 25.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth fighting for Jake Nichols. He's on a very different strategy now, so what's the use of holding up a car that is inevitably going to get by? This is very tight back here, Connor. Oh, spin! Michael Muhammad. Off the racetrack, and he is going to end up not hitting anything.
Is he going to roll back up? No, he won't. So no yellow.
It's going to be a painful one here. Watch out for the 4.
Oh my God.
And there's the yellow.
Well, that'll happen.
I don't think they'll be happy with him about that. But
No, that was a little irresponsible, I'd say. Had avoided the yellow until, I mean, he's got all the racetrack in the world to avoid the racetrack here. Just loop it around on the apron.
Yeah,
I scared the daylights out of her.
There for Hearn, yeah.
yeah, I'll say he's seen enough today. I don't even know where the initial incident happened. All I saw was the 77 spinning. This will be fun. Whoa! He almost swerved out. Went down the track at him.
Let's see what. I think they were. I was just about to mention how tight they were packed in here. And right there, contact for the 42.
Brody Falliker. Everyone did a good job not hitting each other afterwards. Did a good job not hitting anything, at least. That was a positive in that. As I'm sure Brandon Bowie didn't want to see that, because I would not be surprised to see Nichols, Slaughter, Furness, all these guys get fresh tires themselves.
Yeah. I would imagine a lot of these guys are going to come down.
Nichols, Slaughter, chasing Bowie now. Now, so here's the situation now, is that Bowie's advantage, the strategy advantage might go away here if the drivers behind him elect to pit, and it looks like they are going to do that. And this should bring probably not half the cars down, but they're all kind of interspersed, so it's going to kind of reverse the roles here a bit, but they're only going to have about a 7-lap advantage.
Yeah, we're back to where we were at the previous yellow with Bowie and Therian on the front row. Case Lakatos at 3rd is kind of how we were lined up, as Beckner will restart 5th, still recovering from his EOL. Is kind of the cars we have left, more of an even split than the previous yellow, I would say. There's JT Poole, gets the lucky dog. He'll be 33rd, put the next driver back on the lead lap.
So again, it becomes there's the 26. We go back around. This is kind of that point in these races where you're guessing at when that last yellow in the sequence is going to be, right? Because you want to be the driver that pits the latest when we get that long green flag run that we could inevitably get. You don't want to get yourself in a position where you get back in traffic or you're ahead of the field on really old tires and then you go for 50 laps. That's no fun.
Yeah, definitely got to make sure you time your strategies to perfection, but it's almost a guessing game anyway, so what are you really going to be able to time? So just kind of hoping everything goes your way. We're going to have about 12 or so drivers, somewhere around there, stayed out as Brody Falliger gets the EOL penalty. But Michael Muhammad does get an EOL for coming back on track and causing that yellow, which is very unsurprising. Interestingly enough, Brad Slaughter did get out of pit road first, and Furness got out as well before Jake Nichols, so didn't see what happened, but Nichols did not have a good pit sequence.
Furness, I have his pit stop recorded as a 1/10 of a second, effectively, so I'm not exactly sure what led to that.
I just watched it, so that is not correct.
And Slaughter I have as no stop time.
I wonder if that has something to do with sharing pit stalls, because I have seen some drivers at the front stalls, so I think there are not 42 pit stalls available. It's probably only 40.
Interesting, that could be. One to go.
Yeah, Nichols kind of lost control tire-wise to those two. He'll have to gain it back. Brandon Bowie having a good run tonight. He's been at the front for a lot of it, and he's been able to climb back to the front with the fresher tires when he has that to deal with. And he only came in tonight 8 points above the cut line, or somewhere around there, to my count, Hunter. So this is a big race for him if he can get any sort of top 5, top 10.
Yeah, but this is I'm getting flashbacks to what we had earlier in the race where guys stayed out and drivers behind pitted and had an accordion effect and a massive wreck in turn 1 on the restart. But I'm hoping that it can somewhat calm down. It seemed like we were about to get into a good rhythm, and I feel like we might be able to do just that. I think the top 13 have stayed, actually top 11 stayed out. Meanwhile, 12th on back has come in and get some sort of adjustments or new tires. But we'll have to see as Bowie's going to restart as the leader, Tyrion on the outside, and then a matter of Slaughter, Nichols, Furness, Senesac, those guys on new tires, how fast they can get up to the front.
See there the laps in stint for the entire field, and it's not a massive difference. This is about as close to on sequence as you can accidentally get without having everyone pit on the same lap. Only about 10 laps here. That's still about 25 miles worth of distance, but maybe that's worth something. Bowie and Thering are going to line up on the front row, and David Weishart is appreciating this opportunity to kind of get some track position back after getting looped around earlier. He's going to restart back in 26th, and lap 29 will be a restart back underway at the Brickyard.
Another kind of wobbler, but Bowie did get away completely from Lakatos and Therian. We'll see how aggressive Beckner wants to try to get to that runner position. Therian strong on that outside through turn 1. Shades of Jeff Gordon on Casey Kane. Almost 10 years ago, that hurt to say. Therian around the outside, he will clear back for the second position.
Now they're going to set sail down the backstretch as Lakatos settles into third. Beckner going to be all over him, looking to the inside now underneath the 50 of Lakatos for third into turn 3.
Beckner's been all over the place tonight. Started third, fell back to 29th, back up to third. This is the highest he's run all day, and it's where he started the race.
Going to try to get back through the field. He's been able to survive some of the incidents as well, as we have 5 retirements from this race. Nelwood was the 6th, but he got back on track. He's 37th, 11 laps down. The other yellows have helped him not lose too many laps, but he'll still have a long way to go to get any points to save him next week in Talladega, as Therian gets the car sideways entering turn 1. As Bowie really good at these restarts. He gets a big gap every restart he gets from the lead. He's out half a second over the driver of the 9.
Meanwhile, we see the 38 of Jordan Martin and the 66 of Eric Weiland trying to work their way back towards the front of this field. Meanwhile, Brad Slaughter just re-entered the top 10 after passing Joey Chapman. Jake Nichols trying to do the same, as some of these guys are, again, a little dicey behind the top 10.
Yeah, this is getting spicy back here between the 4, Cameron Hearn, and the 12 of Connor Urashak. Urashak's trying to fight for a free pass position here because he's got Shane Abbey 11 seconds back. Little contact in the wall here. This group is making me nervous.
He's just letting him go. He has no other no one else to battle for this position. Shane Abbey, his car, the 84 is totaled, so he will not have to fight the 84. So just letting those guys, plus his teammate, letting him go there. Slaughter up at the front, gets by Clayton Montgomery. That's for the 9th position, because the 8's making hay on those new tires.
Yeah, already up to 9th and working on 8th of Chris Rabel, who's trying to do all he can in the 29. Hard hit back there. It was Alex Weaver in the 62 making significant contact as the field snakes to his inside. Weaver going to fall back to 20th. There comes Weiland looking to take that 19th spot.
A couple of racetracks on the calendar that if you miss the apex by an inch, you hit the wall and you push it a mile. This is one of those places. It is so line sensitive. You get it wrong, and this happens in IndyCar too. You just get it wrong, and it's by the time you realize it, it's too late to correct it. The time to correct it was before you made the mistake. And it's just a very frustrating place at times. Turn 2 in particular, and the exit of turn 1 for that matter, can also get you at times. Bobbing and weaving around a bit in the middle of the field here. That's where the action has been hot since the restart, but just a little bit further up is that 8 that Connor, you mentioned. He continues his climb forward. But Brandon Bowie still holds it down at the front with about 8 lap older tires.
8 lap older tires. He got about a half a second lead within the first lap of the restart, but gave all that pretty much back as Therian's closed in on him, probably with the help of the 27 of Beckner, just shoving him down these straightaways. But now Beckner goes to the inside. He'll look for that second position while Senesac and Scioli are getting by Joey Chapman on their fresher tires as Beckner couldn't make that move work. And as longer he can't make that move work, the more that 8 of Brad Slaughter creeps into the picture. He's up to 7th, working over Nico Garcia. Oh gosh, tight. Turn 4 is really not a fun place to be side by side.
Yeah, Chapman and Ballard were nearly making contact in the middle of turn 4, but back up front, Beckner trying to take second away from Therian, but fighting on that outside is the 9. You can see Beckner fighting everything on that steering wheel he's got, still somehow strapped to his desk. And there's Matthew Bell as they might have made contact up in front. Therian and Beckner.
Little tap.
Now the back straightaway here, there's Matthew Bell and Joey Chapman. They're door to door. Big push coming from Eric Weiland to the back of the 38. Don't push the pusher. That'll get you in trouble even here at Indianapolis. Off into turn 3. 60 going backwards on those older tires.
Has had some damage earlier, so it's been a struggle of a night. Matthew Bell was in, I think, the first caution. He's just still recovering from that. Almost into the top 15 as Slaughter now going to get a big run on Greg Mitchell. He's almost up into the top 5 as Beckner still cannot get by the 9 of Therian. He's poking a nose, maybe a little impatient, seeing that 8 come closer and closer. You need to get a gap over the new tires best he can, so he's got to go soon.
Slaughter up to 6th with the new tires. Jake Nichols up to 9th. Furnace in 10th. These guys still working their way towards that top 5 spot. And Slaughter might be the first to do so as he's going to have a nice run coming down the backstretch and looking low on Greg Mitchell for that 5th spot.
Just a bit of a drag race here. Chevrolet versus Ford Power and off into turn 3. Look at the background. John Furnace taking the Ford Power to the Toyota of Jake Nichols. He will take that spot on the entrance to turn 3, or try to complete it, but they're going to run up on the back of Bronson Stafford and get stalled out here.
Yeah, it really depended on where Stafford went into the corner. He chose bottom, so Furnace is going to get picked off here by Nichols, and 73 will get a big gap on that 28, while Furnace gets held up a little bit as saw Ben Pierce hit the wall onto turn 2 last time. Well, I got some damage, but still running on track as Brad Slaughter up to 4th.
Yeah, Nichols is playing checkers, or actually chess, while the rest of the field playing checkers. And Slaughter's doing the same thing. He's playing chess as he's up to 4th now with the new tires. Going to be working on Beckner here for 3rd. Close call for Beckner off 2.
And here comes the 9 to the inside. And I think Beckner might take this 3 wide. No, he's going to stay 2 wide. Here comes Brad Slaughter Jr., but had nowhere to go. He'll back out and wait for a better opportunity as Shane Therian takes the lead. Here comes Brad Slaughter. He will take them 3 wide out of turn 3. No, he backs out.
No, got to back out of that. That won't work. Bowie had a big moment out of 2, had the lift, and I think Therian took that as, okay, got to go now. So he's going to try to pull away from this battle for 2nd best he can before Slaughter gets by both of them. Now he's going to go to the outside of Beckner and push to 23 a little bit further clear, which I'm sure Beckner's not going to be too excited about. He's going to really put the door on the 27 as they now go side by side for 3rd.
Flirting with disaster there. Beckner's been moving up, and he almost did that there with the 8 of Slaughter. He moved up on the 23 of Bowie. Almost made contact at turn 4 last time, but it worked out there for Slaughter. Up to 3rd. Here comes Bowie, and Slaughter going to use the draft and get closer to the 9 of Therian.
carrying a lot of speed through the corner there and not willing to give any of it up on the corner exit. He gets to second place now. They're 3 wide in the background with the 21 of Delonte Ballard split the difference there.
That's a mess that's waiting to explode, I would say. James Scully's right in front of that. He's not gotten through the field quite well on fresh tires. He's still working over Chris Rabel, well behind teammate Nichols and a few others that are on the strategy. And Rabel will not let him go easily for this.
Big block from the Furnace on Casey Lakatos. He threw the bumper to him, and here comes a big run from the 2 of Greg Mitchell, but he backs out and for the lead. Brad Slaughter Jr. goes and takes it like candy from a baby.
And that was not a block from Furnace. He had to run and saw the whole closing, or at least opening, to get inside of Beckner, and he did that, and then got the spot from the 27. So aggressive, but smart move. Now he's trying to follow Nichols up through here still, as now they're getting to Shane Theron and Brandon Bowie, who are going to be the last drivers to fall on this strategy.
Yeah, Slaughter going to try and set sail as fast as he can because he knows that 73 and 28, they are coming for him. So they're also on the same strategy, and Nichols going to get clear for third, actually fourth from Furnace, who's under attack now from Bowie again with Beckner on his bumper. And Nichols to the outside of Tyrion for second, going to have a nice run on the straightaway.
There, we're starting to see the most recent pit stop drivers filter to the top as you see less and less of those 18, 19 lap old tires in the top 10 as drivers move their way forward. Therion's going to be way outside. That's a dangerous place to be without any rubber. He's going to have to concede this here and just clinging to overlap, but he's going to have to give it up. And maybe that'll give Bowie an opportunity to get back by here.
Might take this opportunity. Durham was in the wall out of 1. He's in the wall out of 2 with Munsell, but they all keep it straight. As that scramble around Nico Garcia, a little bit of a scramble. He's still holding on to some positions as Case Lakatos has been really dropping down the order. He's down to 8th on his older tires, but it's as calm as a single file run at Indy can be. Oh, we got a crash in turn 3. In the very back of the field, Cameron Hearn, Eugenio Alonso, 2 others, Ben Pierce and Spencer Brown, destroyed. Oh, oh gosh. There goes Euroshack. That was at the very back of the field.
Have a look. Semrat Market replay. So up the road, Ben Pierce. It's into the back. Oh man, that was just a big stack up. Holy cow.
Did Jeffrey Wilson hit the brakes? Started with the. See this. That's that. I've never seen anything like that. I don't even know if he hit the brakes super early, but everyone kind of piled in. Look, 33 lifted early. The 85 responded, and then it went all the way to the back of that line.
I've never seen the speed differential change so much. Watch the 86 and 95 here. The 65 jams on the brakes and then just, gosh.
There's nothing those guys could do. They're never going to expect someone slowing down that much.
Oh,
and
Robertson.
Pierce and Spencer Brown get the worst of that.
Gosh, weird one. That looked funky, didn't it?
I've never seen anything like that. That really, I don't know. It's like Weishart was just pushing the 42 along, decided to lift early for the corner, and Jeff Wilson was not ready for it, and it caused a stack up. I don't even know if you can put blame on anyone. I've never seen that.
Huh. Well, it's a pit stop for a handful of drivers.
This might be everyone.
No. Well, it is everyone. You're right. And this is not going to 35 laps to the end from here. Connor, what do you think?
It's going to be tight, but I think we'll see drivers try to stretch that. I think it's just close enough to the window that I predict that we will see. Oh gosh, what? It's not at a good night. But it looks like James Scioli is going to come off first. I did not see if I think he did take 2 tires, so getting track position at the most important time.
Hello, Cameron Hearn. Hearn is sideways.
I don't know why he spun out, but Scioli took 2 to get the lead. Meanwhile, I don't even know how this happened. It's been a rough night. He won here last season, but it has not been the same type of night.
Just spun out.
Okay.
And got it in the box, and
they could pit that. No, now they can't. In real life, they could have. Look out. That almost caused a crash, too, by the way. I think the number of drivers almost
There's no
came
driving
together.
through pit stalls rule in this series?
Nope. I don't believe so.
Okay.
At least not yet. That would be too much for them. It's to keep track of.
I think about half the field would have gotten a penalty there if that was a rule, so that's why I was asking.
It's funny because it's hard to drive through a lot of stalls here because they're very tiny. They're not wide at all.
Well, we've gotten a lot of looks on our SimRat Market replay tonight. Make sure you head on over to simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. Lights are out. Saving grace is that we got nice quick yellows here. Marks to 5 yellows so far in the first 40 laps.
Somehow the yellows keep getting weirder.
They do. What a weird night.
Meanwhile, that last yellow, Connor Yerashak did get the lucky dog. He's drifted through turn 2 pit exit. He was still repairing damage from his instant along with Shane Abbey. Abbey will be competing with Eugenio Alonso for the next lucky dog, but maybe the 12 with a late charge. Still probably trying to cling on to hopes of going for 3 in a row, but looks very unlikely at this point.
So, the only notable thing here is David Weishart and James Scioli are on, and Richard Thomas are all on 2 tires. Everyone else took 4. That's of note. I don't know why I would have taken 2 tires at this particular moment.
Track position, I think you knew everyone was going to come down. For Scioli's case, I think he knew everyone was going to come down, and this could be the last time everyone comes down at the same time. So might as well get the track position now, get the 2 tires. David Weishart, before he got caught up in his incident, he was making good time. He was still the highest up driver on fresh tires when he got taken out in turn number 2. So it didn't work too badly. So Scioli, I think, is going to take inspiration from that and try to go keep this lead from the 8 of Slaughter.
Yeah, maybe a decent call there. Have a look at the weather information. It's about as cool as it was at the tail end of qualifying. But can't see the moon, but I bet you it's a full one. It's been a weird evening. The Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Again, pretty early greens because of the lack of restart zones, but Scioli's clear of Slaughter Jr. down into turn 1, and we're off and away.
Got to be locked in for these restarts. We're missing them. Scioli got the lead away, though, and Nichols is going to keep third. Maybe not quite yet from Furness. They're going to be side by side for that position as the 7 gets away.
It's also hard to tell when they're launching because of that long shot down the front straightaway. They kind of all look like they're going pace speed until they're not.
Sure do as they go. Furness has been working over Jake Nichols the last maybe 10 laps, Hunter, but just cannot make this work as now Beckner joins the fun.
Wineland in the back underneath Stafford thought about making it 3 wide. They're checking up in front because Richard Thomas is there and had a moment in turn 3. So it's a handful going through turn 4 now for driver of the 66 Eric Wineland. You see the 37 loose as a goose off turn 4. Now look at 3 wide on the front stretch is Wineland.
That was a little wild. There's still going to be 3 abreast. Someone's got to give. I've seen this so many times. You can't do 3 wide at Indianapolis, and they somehow got it sorted by the time they got to the apex.
Richard Thomas kind of bailed to the bottom just before he made contact with Matthew Bell. So now Bell's going to assume that top position, try to get 17 from Wineland as they got tight out of turn number 2. But they're making it work right now as everyone's still calm at the very front of the field, all single file. This is the first real battle, but Wineland's just going to give it up to the 43.
Yeah, Thomas still trying to fight back. As the 6 of Munsell looks to the outside, going to take 20th away from Richard Thomas now as he's trying to make a way towards the front somehow. He finished in the top 5 here a season ago, and I don't think he's cracked the top 10 yet, or if he has, it might have been through different strategies, but have not heard much from the 6 at all tonight.
No, really haven't. And it's been a surprise. We don't even have him in the video chat tonight like we normally do. Kind of laying under the radar, and maybe hoping that doing that will find you some luck, but none so far.
He was involved in, I think he was a part of the lap 1 incident, so not working from the very start.
It didn't. I think he missed it, but it was close.
Yeah, I think it was close. I think you're right. He's still got some right front damage, but that shouldn't be affecting him too much as Beckner's trying to work over Furness for the 4th position. That 6 is not being able to get through the field like he probably hoped. Didn't have a good qualifying run either, which kind of put him in that hole.
Still closing in on that bumper, trying to get any sort of edge that he can to get enough of a run off the turn Not going to be enough, though. He's still peeking, though, trying to get a little bit of clean air, and maybe he's going to send it in now, and it looks like he will. So Beckner and Furness side by side for fourth into turn one. And in the back, Lakatos almost went underneath Bowie for sixth.
Oh, this is really tight out of turn two. Big slide for Beckner. He went down there pretty low in turn one. And there is, if you drop below that white line too far and get your left front tire on that concrete rumble, it is a pretty wild ride there. And Bowie's going to fill that gap to the outside.
Yeah, Beckner was hesitant to block it. I don't think he wanted Bowie to get to his inside, but instead Bowie will try to go the long way around as Lakatos pushes him up there. Didn't want to really be a part of that battle, so backs out to get the run out. Now Beckner's trying to play some defense and just not go too far backwards as Bowie's looking strong tonight, trying to get around the 27, pinching him off of the corner. He will get that spot out of turn number 4. And I've got to say, this has been a week of 2 tires. I think Blaze McKinney won with 2 tires. We saw John Hall on Tuesday night at IRP went on 2 tires. James Scioli is keeping this lead on this 2-tire call.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that pays out in the very end for Scioli, as Slaughter is still running second. Nichols third, putting pressure on the 8 to try and move up towards the front. Meanwhile, in the back, you saw Darian look below Lakatos for 7th, and not going to be able to take the position away, but had a shot at it.
David Weishart still trying to recover from getting involved in a wreck on lap 17 with the 37 of Richard Thomas. Back up as high as he's been since, but fighting here with Bronson Stafford to hold on to that 12th spot.
He restarted 14th, got up to this 12th position, which he's trying to fend off from Stafford, but it doesn't seem like he's really been able to keep pace right now. I think you did say he took 2 tires last yellow to get some track position back, but when you're in dirty air, it's not going to work as well as if you have the lead like Scioli. It just seems like he cannot get out of the corners and get the runs down these long straightaways like he needs to, and it's holding up a few drivers behind him, and it's letting the top 11 get away from him.
On board with Jordan Martin in battle with Bronson Stafford and David Weishart. It's impressive that Weishart's still in this race. Still has a shot to win if all things go his way, and almost just flipped the wall there, but impressive to see the 33 still fighting along as he's got company following him, and Beckner still trying to get around Bowie.
Yeah, got a nice run out of turn 2. To send it down here into turn 3 and see if he can clear the 23. He does not. He's going to run him up the hill just a touch. That was very tight door to door.
Always got to be nervous when Travis Beckner's on your inside.
Oh, man.
Like
it's
that.
not without past history, but it is fun to watch.
Early losing some of his lead, but still comfortably in the lead. This is the highest battle on track. It's just so tough to hold it down on the bottom. It's probably one of the toughest tracks to do so because you only have like a lane and a half in reality at Indy. So when you get your door pinched, you're going to really have a tough time not fully lifting out of it. You almost have to fully lift to kind of prevent hitting the guy on your outside. So it's why it's so tough to pass here.
You see how the bumper of Beckner there running in 6th. He's got Lakatos there running strong in 7th, and Lakatos having a good season in the Cup Series, Pro Series not so much, but a good run here for the 50.
Ooh, Shane Abbey is actually coming up on him right now. Shane Abbey engine must have expired, and he's gonna have to retire from this race, I would think.
Not pulling off to the inside there, doing the right thing.
That's Slaughter for the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say that 8's coming. Wasting no time. Side by side for the top spot here at Indianapolis. Closing in on 25 laps to go.
Shane Abbey has come to a stop, reset. We will have no caution as Scioli does not want to lose his track position. He loses the clean air. He's in a big trouble as he goes way high through turn number 2. Just trying to get the run off and defend from Slaughter, but the 8's still got a run on him.
Yeah, side by side down the back stretch. Slaughter looking low on Scioli. Meanwhile, Nichols closing in. Might make it a 3-car horse race for the lead. Beckner still lurking in the back, but up front, Slaughter going to try and clear Scioli. Nichols closing in. The 8 has yet to clear Scioli, but looks like he'll do so now in turn 4.
Carrying decent speed here. Then the question becomes who gives the shove, and Jake Nichols is coming with a big head of steam.
Shane Therian pits from 8th. That is odd.
Maybe he doesn't think that they can make it. Remember, we're trying to make a 35-lap sprint to the end. If he doesn't think he can go that far, he's going to ditch now. We're about 26 laps to go.
Hey, well, Scioli, that was incredible to even stay on the right rear of the 8. Now, if he can clear him back, now the 8's in trouble because I think we'll see Jake Nichols try to get that spot, and this is really stacking the front 7 or 8 up. Because Scioli is now really having to play defense.
Yeah, he's got Slaughter on his bumper, and now the 73, the 28 of Furness joining in, Bowie, Beckner, Lakatos, the top 7 all within a second of each other in turn 3 as Scioli continues to scoot away with the lead.
This battle is heating up here, but the ultimate question remains, is that stop there a lap ago, is that going to trigger some more pit stops potentially for other drivers like Shane Therian? If they feel like they're better off just running a full out run to the end. I think the risk there is that the caution comes out. But remember that you don't lose a lap under green here when you pit from the main pack. So maybe there's some strategy there that if the caution comes out, you would pit again. And that would certainly put Therian at an advantage with track position late in this race.
I just think if you knew you couldn't make it, you would run maybe closer to the halfway point of that run. It just seems odd to pit 8 laps after, but we'll see if it works. We've seen crazier strategies work in seasons past, but just a little odd that he pit that early, and he's still on an island. No one else comes down, as we still have 30 other drivers on the lead lap.
Coming to 24 to go this time by, and a strategy call did work for Therian back in Charlotte where he won an impressive race. Him and Slaughter were on that same strategy. I think Slaughter got second in that race, and he's looking to best that spot and finish up front tonight, running in second, but closing in on the leader, Scioli. He's going to look into turn 1, all over the bumper. Not yet to make a move yet, but applying pressure to that 7.
Yeah, I wonder if Therian's decision was motivated by our average green flag run tonight, because this would really benefit you if you could get a caution. And maybe he's assuming that one would come out shortly, so you got to take full advantage of it. You got to get on pit lane before that yellow flies. It's a big risk, but that might be why he pitted this early, Connor, rather than wait and risk that strategy not being able to play out at all.
Brandon Bowie is still getting worked over by Beckner, but I think it's not the worst strategy call. I understand where he's coming from. The only thing that I don't understand is taking 4 tires after you took 4 tires 8 laps ago. I think with how little fuel I think we might have to save here to get the VN for some others, you might just want to take 2 tires because you're taking the splash of fuel anyways. Why not save the time and just ditch the 4-tire stop? It's clearly working for the 7 in clean air. He's in clean air right now. It could have worked out all right for him. The only other thing I would have changed would coming down the pit, but it still might work.
Point.
This long conga line of cars still goes all the way from first back to about where Eric Weiland's running, so I'd say about 15th on the track. Big conga line of cars, all single file, not making a move on each other, just longing in laps and getting a little bit spread out here with the front 3 as Scioli 2 car lengths of a second advantage over Slaughter in turn 3.
It's notable that after Brad took a run at him, he hasn't been able to continue the pressure, so perhaps that little bit of racing they did burned up Brad's stuff to equal Scioli's. He didn't have an enormous tire advantage. It was only 2 tire worth of an advantage and only a couple laps on those tires as well, so I could see that equalizing out pretty easily. As Jake Nichols has also stopped his progress. And who's that? It is Justin Munsell. Nothing to lose.
And he's 19th. He is lower in the points, needs points and maybe a win, so why not try this? Therian was high up where it was kind of a question mark, but I don't disagree with Munsell trying this from 19th. This could work. And another thing that you could factor in is how much Scioli's 2-tire stop and just sitting in front of the pack, how much is that actually slowing down everyone's pace if no one else can make it? You get the tires now, get out of the pack, try to use the clean air to your advantage, make up time, and they might not be able to get back to you if they all have to pit. The only hindrance in that strategy is that the 7 is actually starting to pull a little bit of a gap on the 8 of Slaughter.
I don't think anybody expected that.
By the way, we didn't even know.
Trouble! The 38 in the wall hard! Big crash. Senesac's in it.
Oh, and Michael Muhammad late. Gosh, Alex Weaver's going to slide in late. Gosh, that was another
huge wreck.
Horrible hit. Gosh.
Wow. And the guys that just pit might look like geniuses here.
I tell you what, Justin Munsell's going to get the lead out of this probably, but second time this has happened, it's just too close. I mean, gosh, what a horrible hit. Bryce Senesac right on the cut line, nowhere for him to go, and Jordan Martin.
I mean, what?
Gosh.
38 didn't really do anything wrong here.
No, he's as low as he can go. I don't think Stafford needed to pinch him that hard.
Oh, my. That is a brutal impact.
Gosh, that That was more scary than the other one.
Look at Rabel. Holy cow! I know he got it. Did he miss the wall? No way.
He didn't really get damage out of that. I don't
That
think
is
that was
crazy.
incredible. Did he? He did not get damage out of that.
No. Watch this. Chris Rabel. This might be the avoidance of the century.
Let's see.
Gosh, that was cool.
Look at Garrett Grant. Garrett Grant did a great job getting through that as well. As I think everyone at the front's going to pit, no doubt about it. No reason to cover that. He just, gosh, I've never seen anything like that crash. But these avoidances, look at Garrett Grant snake through here.
Oh man,
Michael Muhammad could not. But those two, they just gained themselves like 5-10 spots by doing that. My gosh, that was incredible.
oh,
What a hit.
Brutal impact there. Senesac could not do anything.
For the ones that don't know, Hunter Sleppy had to step away. He's going to come back seeing this and be like, what the hell happened? I mean, gosh, I do think it's too big of a pinch from Stafford. I don't know how the 43 got away with that, but it looks like he got some damage out of it. But
I just haven't seen a wreck that brutal in a very long time. I mean, look at the impact that thing took.
a little more strategy that time, we'll note it, but just watch this violence.
Yeah, just that, as the 38, you probably didn't even have time to react. You feel the contact, and then before you know it.
Same exact thing as Justin Anasogak and Villalobos. And Eric Weiland barely snuck through that as well, I think without damage.
What did Matthew Bell see in all that? Is Bell on track at the moment?
He was just behind it as it unfolded. You might have seen this coming. Look how aggressive this got. He actually gave a tap to Brock Stafford. He did everything he could, but he did get a hit.
Well, all that aside, we have had Shane Therian and Justin Munsell stay out as we expected because they had already made their pit stops. Everybody else comes down for 4 tires and fuel.
And I believe Bowie actually takes 2 in this scenario. So the only hindrance for him is now he's not going to be able to restart with the lead because of Therian and Munsell's strategy. So he'll be on his 2 tires while Scioli gets the benefit of taking 4 tires and getting back even with everyone else.
Well, Hunter, did you get to at least see the replays of that?
Sure did. That looked like a wild incident. So not sure what's going to happen now. So Therian and Munsell are staying out. Same with Bowie. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, and see if we get a green stint to the finish or if we're going to see caution after caution.
I think this opens the floodgates now.
That's one way to put it.
If we hadn't had it enough, we're going to get it more now. Before we get back to the restart here, though, we've seen some spicy incidents tonight, almost as spicy as Rick's Hot Sauce. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver takes home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Well, Justin Munsell got a little luck on his side. I think he would have rather traded it in at another point, but doesn't hurt.
Definitely doesn't hurt. And he really had just pit when that yellow flew. Shane Therian's going to have some laps on his tires, so Munsell's probably I would think he's in the best spot here, honestly, but he's got to get a good restart.
Get the lead and then hope for carnage for the rest of the race because you'll have that advantage on the restart. And it's hard to get the lead back for about 10 laps, even with fresher tires. And it's only only laps worth. But here we go, green flag back in the air, 18 to go from Indianapolis. Munsell didn't get a fantastic restart here. He loses this to Bowie. Well, Bowie's only on 2 tires. So is Munsell, though.
So did it only take 2?
So it's showing for me 10-second pit stop.
Look at it real quick.
And Munsell clears Bowie.
You're correct. He did only take 2 tires.
Well, better than nothing. Bowie going to send it down there into turn 3. He really wants this second spot. He knows how important it is to be here with the potential for calamity brewing in the rearview mirror.
But now Skyler's going to be able to shove Munsell down this front stretch, and maybe he'll look 3 wide instead because he just dropped to the bottom. He's going to shove Bowie by instead of the 6, and this is what Therian needs to get a bit of a gap here, as Slaughter's going to look to the inside of Casey Lakatos, who's been top 10. Nichols battling with Travis Beckner, and now it's getting crazy. These two will not let each other go.
Oh, starting to stack up there on that bottom. Jake Nichols starting to close in on the picture.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Munsell's trying to set sail up.
Cars on the wall in the back, but they kept it straight, excuse me.
Oh, Bowie
Whoa.
down to the inside. We got 4 Toyotas leading the way here as they slice and dice. Brad Slaughter Jr. is trying to make it 5 as Beckner went by him a moment ago on the outside. Here comes Munsell to second. He was able to dispatch Bowie and send him back into traffic, but Scioli is the dangerous one for these top 2, Connor.
Big dive. Munsell just took Therian by surprise to go for the race lead. He's going to clear him. I was about to talk about this is a big moment in Justin Munsell's season. He's so many points back. He probably needs to win. This is his moment, and that was a huge move. But now Scioli's got to run on both of these two, and here comes Travis Beckner.
Oh, Munsell going to have to send it going into the turn to keep the 7 at bay. Therian still looking on the outside of Scioli, trying to keep him at bay for second. Meanwhile, Beckner's up to 4th, Nichols in the 5th. And Justin Munsell 16 laps away from possibly winning here at Indianapolis.
It's a long ways away, though, but if he gets yellows, that might be what saves him here. I think Scioli will be quicker on raw pace, but you get a couple yellows to burn some laps up and have that advantage on the restart. You could be talking about a winner for the first time this season and end a drought that is oh so long for Justin Munsell. Side by side for third with Beckner and Therian, and it's wild behind him.
Yeah, if you're Munsell, you got to force them low. You cannot let them get to your outside or else it's over and you might wreck. So you got to be careful if you're Justin Munsell and force Skyler to beat you on that bottom line.
But checking up here in the back half of that top 10 as the 73 Nichols going to get a bump from Slaughter in the 8th, going to go up to 4th. Here comes Scioli looking low for the lead in turn 1.
Munsell's got to fight this off on the high side here. Don't burn up your pace, your tires. Big slide for Brad Slaughter. He'll gather it up, and was there contact behind? Everybody shuffling out of the way, and Munsell just hanging on by a thread down the back straightaway.
He's in the wall. Look at the run Travis Beckner's got. Is he going to look 3 wide? No, he's going to shove. Yes, he will. He's going to look to the inside of Skyler because they're both going to clear Munsell. And once again, these two have found each other, racing for the lead and maybe the win.
Beckner looking low. Scioli going to keep it on the outside now as Munsell's down to 3rd. Nichols trying to join in the fray, and side by side for the lead. Beckner looking for his first Pro Series win of the season. Might have a run here, but Scioli still to the outside, side by side for the first 4 spots.
It is a Camaro flanked by Team Toyota all the way back to 5th place with Brad Slaughter Jr. Beckner, the lone bow tie here at the front of the field, trying to get the job done underneath the 7 of Scioli. These two have had run-ins many times before in all the different series here in the area, and it is go time with 14 laps left at Indianapolis.
Beckner is trying so hard to clear the 7, but he just can't get clear of him at any point of the track. Scioli used up all the room to get the run out of turn 2, but now it's letting Jake Nichols close in. Will he help his teammate, or is he just going to try to go for the win on his own?
Ensign with Beckner, you can see him fighting the steering wheel, still trying to keep the 7 at bay, trying to get cleared for the lead with the 73 and Nichols breathing down his neck. So the top 3 are all within a car length or 2 of each other, and they're coming off turn 4, still side by side for the lead, coming to 13 to go. Here comes Ada Slaughter behind Jake Nichols.
This is where your alliances are going to help, but no, he goes 3 wide for the lead. This is not going to work. Someone's got to give into turn 1 at Indianapolis. Beckner's middle, 3 wide. Slide from the 73 of Nichols. They're up the racetrack, though.
2 years and 2 seasons in a row, we've seen 3 wide for the lead in the turn 1, but this time Nichols can't make it work. Beckner close to clearing, so him and Scioli made contact. Another big run comes for the 73. This time he's going to shove Scioli clear and maybe get himself clear. And here comes Slaughter as all 3 of these guys are going to gang up on Travis Beckner.
Not too far behind, John Furness in 5th, closing in on this mix as Scioli clears Beckner for the lead in turn 3. Now Nichols going to look to the outside of Beckner for 2nd on the track. Meanwhile, Slaughter, Furness still running 4th and 5th, but man, that 7's going to set sail coming to 12 to go.
Yeah, this is going to hurt the 27. He's going to have to slot in between the 73 and Slaughter, and he had to do that or he was going to lose another spot.
I don't think Scioli's going to set sail. Jake Nichols, I think, is the guy to look out for because I think he can get Scioli here. But I'd be worried about how Beckner and Slaughter race now because I don't think the 8 will be happy about that. But you really got to look 7th on back. They're beating and banging back there.
Yeah, close there with Eric Weiland and the 9 of Tyrion battling for 8th on the track, and these guys are running all the way up near the wall through the turns. Going to be close on exit for them. Still making it work, and a car bouncing off in front of Brandon Bowie was Nico Garcia running in the 10th spot. As Weishart still looking underneath the 62 of Weaver into 3.
This is very, very tight back here. I don't see this going green all the way to the end, though, Connor. It's too fierce.
I would say so. You know, one thing that's going to hurt Scioli is dirty air from the 86 Alonso, but it might not matter. Nichols got to run, but if he can't make this pass work, Beckner is going to have another shot at both of them.
Running in 3rd is Beckner, as in front of him, the battle for the lead continues. Nichols into turn 1, going to try and close the gap between himself and the 7. Not going to be enough. They're going to be side by side into 2, and Beckner now close back in. Going to see what he can do and try to get a good run down the backstretch.
Beckner searching for his first win of the season in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Nichols searching for his 2nd. Scioli searching for his 5th. Down the back straightaway here. Beckner back up to 2nd place on the 73 of Nichols.
This is incredible stuff, and it's just so hard to hold the bottom and pass someone. Seems like everyone who goes down there just can't make it stick and loses a position out of it. Now Nichols back to 3rd to where he was before Beckner and Scioli battled, and now we're single file with 5 drivers under a blanket who can probably all win it. Coming to 10 to go, as they're 3-4 wide for 12th on back. Tyrion hit the wall.
Yeah, those guys in the back are pack racing like it's Talladega, which we go to next week. So these guys are fighting for everything they can, and it's going to be very tight there with Chris Rabel in the middle of that. Clay Montgomery close, and they're smacking the wall back there. That was Falliger in 42.
I don't know how they haven't wrecked yet.
It's only a matter of time, and the 60 sideways. There it is. Crash.
No yellow yet. There it will. Caution's not out yet. There it is. That took a lot longer than I thought it would. As gosh, I can't believe that didn't happen earlier, and that is actually really huge for the cut line. Senesac was only 4 to the good coming into tonight.
That is a painful one for Senesac.
See the dejection. That was the last thing he needed.
From high above here, get a better perspective of it. They were just everywhere all the time, and right there, 09 gives a shot to the 60. It jumps on the brakes there, and
Jeffrey Wilson nowhere to go. Cameron Hearn and JT Poole have been repairing damage all night. They get caught up in this. Yeah, this almost looks like, hey, he gives a shot.
Chapman brake check him there.
You'd have to. It certainly looked like it, but no way to tell without the inputs. But you know, let the picture tell the story, as they say.
It looked like it.
Oh, that angle definitely seems like he might have used the left foot instead of the right foot there.
They did call it a racing deal, because that's going to be crushing for Senesac, probably going into Dega below that cut line.
All right, guys, now what?
I don't know. You asking me? I don't know. It's crazy. You got a number of drivers at the front who probably don't like battling each other. Now probably we got worn tires.
Well,
does anyone even consider pitting? I don't think you.
No shot. No shot. Whoop, whoop.
Munsell, that's not surprising. He had old tires, but not going to bring too many others down.
Not too many lead lap cars anyway. Oh, plot thickens, huh?
I'll say. I just don't think. If we don't, they're in a better spot, but this run has to go completely green to the end. Caution number 7 is what we're working. This has to go green for this to work for Munsell and others, as looks like Ed Robertson got a lucky dog out of that. You get one yellow here, taking tires here is irrelevant, because you just don't have the time to get up through the field. So this might work out for the drivers who stayed out. Eric Wineland's one of those who I think benefited a lot from it. He's up to 6th in the 66. I don't know if that's good or bad. But other drivers at the front, Chris Rabel, that avoidance, he's back up to 10th. Weishart has recovered all the way to 8th.
I think the thing I'd worry about Weishart is that he's pretty close to the tail of the drivers that stayed out. So Munsell, Lakatos, and some others will get a chance to pass him To boot, those 12 laps that they put on those tires, those were hard-fought laps for majority of this pack.
Just wonder what Scioli, because they are teammates, Scioli and Jake Nichols. You just wonder if they'll work together to time it, get in front of the 27, or just go private with each other and just race it out.
They both have won races, so they're both in the playoffs. Nichols has less wins than Scioli by a lot, so I don't think he's going to be super willing to play ball, but he's going to do the best thing for him, which would probably be to be on the inside, and Scioli knows that.
Well, it's really Scioli who has to play ball, because if Scioli can time it for Jake Nichols, they can both get clear for the lead and battle it amongst themselves and maybe prevent Travis Beckner from being in that battle. They also have Brad Slaughter, who I think is also a teammate to them.
Well,
so they've got numbers on Beckner if they want to use them. I just don't think they really want to use them right now as we get the one to green. And he does take the top.
Yeah, that's not what I would have expected.
Slaughter's another teammate as well. Just I wonder if this is just a case of knowing Nichols is his biggest threat and would rather have the 8 get the jump instead. But you let Travis Beckner maybe get there inside in turn 1.
Hey, don't let anything happen to these top 4, because Eric Wineland is that third car in the outside lane. He is running in 6th when they get the green flag, but wow, I mean, what a run he's had. I mean, he started 21st, went all the way down to 34th, and has fought and clawed his way inside the top 15, the top 10, knocking on the door for a possible top 5 finish on the 66.
It's certainly going to be a frantic run to the end here. Here's what Scioli would love is, I mean, other than racing to the end side by side with a teammate, he would love if he would just get a couple yellows to end this thing without having to battle anybody. I think he's going to have to fight people off. Do I think we're going to get a green-white checkered? Absolutely. So this restart is going to be frantic. Everyone knows how hard it is to pass here. We've got drivers on 12-lap fresher tires, 13th on back, starting with Lakatos and Munsell. They are not going to wait around. They know 6 laps at Indianapolis is a ton of time and none at all at the same time.
That might be another reason Scioli took the top, because it puts Beckner on the bottom where it's so hard to maintain position. It's going to put him at a disadvantage on this restart if he can't get clear to the wall.
Here we go. 6 laps to go from Indianapolis in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Green flag back in the air. Scioli gets a nice jump on that outside lane, and Brad Slaughter comes with. And look at Jake Nichols jumping up to the outside.
Maybe that was by design. All 3 of them will get to the outside. Beckner will be the guy on the bottom as Scioli's clear to take the bottom on his own. Beckner slides up into the 8 a little bit, and now they're both on the outside of the 27 of Beckner.
Scioli looking to set away from the top other drivers in the pack, as they're almost 3 wide back there, nearly clipping the wall, but Slaughter has the edge on Beckner for 2nd. He's door-to-door with Nichols for 3rd, and then for 5th, it's Wineland and Furness door-to-door with Weishart behind you coming in the 3rd.
Wineland wants a top 5 badly here. He's on the outside. Beckner's going to clear up right ahead of him. Beckner's got 3 teammates to take down. That is a tall task with 5 laps left in Indianapolis, but don't put it past him. We've seen crazier things before.
Jim Scioli's going to try to make it not a battle. He's starting to weave. We've seen it all the time at Indy, trying not to let Slaughter or Nichols get to him for a battle for the lead, as everyone inside about the top 11 or top 9 are still on old tires, but look at who's getting into the top 10. Connor Euroshak is breaking the top 10. And he's up to 9th, and he's flying. He's pretty fast right now. Oh, Weishart, though.
New tires on the 12 as well, guys.
Oh, Furness just hit the wall hard in front of him.
Oh, it's
they're almost too good for the 12. Almost got into the back of Weishart there, and yeah, if this race goes green to the end, he might have enough time to get a top 5 finish. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for the win, but that 12 is
in the corner.
Yeah, he's coming, guys. He's coming quick.
Gosh.
3 wide. That's not going to work. And
yeah, it is.
John Furness bails out and makes sure that they come out the other side in one piece.
He's got big damage after he slapped the wall. Now the 33 and 12 slap doors, as James Scioli is not letting Brad Slaughter get a run on him, as they're all trying to follow up through. Wineland's in 5th trying to follow through, but if Euroshak's not out of this, he's got by the 33. This is not over.
For the 50.
And here comes Case Lakatos, too.
Wow. Oh, boy.
Oh, hard hit back there. Yeah, they are flirting with disaster back there. That's the 9 of Tyrion.
Euroshak just hit Wineland. He's sorry to cut you off. Didn't mean it, Hunter, but he hit Wineland a little bit, but he's going to get this 4th position.
He's coming very,
he
very
might
quickly.
Get this if this is green, especially if they battle.
Looking him to the outside of Beckner, looking for fourth. It's like he hit the power switch, and he's up to fourth now. He's got to get through the three teammates, though, of Nichols, Slaughter, and Scioli, and he might do just that. He's all over the bumper of Nichols. They're coming to 3 to go. Time's still there for the 12.
Who's going to burn up the time for Connor Yurashek?
Man.
Nichols throws a block on him. Here comes Brad Slaughter Jr. for the lead. 3 laps to go at Indianapolis.
Man. Now Jake Nichols looks like he's switching the rear gunner, just trying to hold him back. I just don't think there's much he can do here to fend off those fresher tires. Yurashek not fully clear for that. Oh, they're almost going to make contact. Yurashek to the outside to Slaughter. This isn't even going to be a contest.
Blyson and Dyson his way through the top 10 as the 12 of Euroshack on the fresh tires, still trying to get around one more car. That's the race leader Scioli to the inside. He's looking for the lead into turn 3. Gonna have a nose and send it in the turn.
Connor Yurashek is not to be denied. To the bottom down here. It has been a heck of a day for the 12. He goes back to the point here at the Brickyard, and Casey Lakatos is trying to follow him through.
This will be a heck of a way to get 3 in a row, wouldn't you say? He was nowhere all day, and he just rocketed to the lead on this restart. That is one of the most impressive things we've seen all season. And Casey Lakatos, like we said, trying to follow him through. So is Brandon Bowie. Big block with 2 laps to go.
Bowie looking low, trying to go into the turn and get underneath the 50. Lakatos, who's having a strong day in the top 10, not going to be enough. Meanwhile, the fight for third continues. Greg Mitchell's joined the party now. He's going to look for third on Jake Nichols. Going to be tight off 2 with the rest of these guys chasing the 12 of Euroshack.
Where did the 2 come from? Same thing. We did not expect the tire strategy call to be the one. We thought that it was going to be track position play, but it has not been that way. Euroshack's clear by what feels like a mile.
I'm sure all those David Weishart drivers are like, oh, now we go green. I'm sure they're livid. But nothing they could do but just watch these drivers go out into the impending sunset as Euroshack's gone and Greg Mitchell's checking out too. As we're coming to 1 to go as Lakatos is going for third.
White flag's going to be waving one more time around Indianapolis for Connor Euroshack with a 1-second lead over Greg Mitchell, and then side by side for third Lakatos and Scioli for the podium spot in the 1.
Casey Lakatos is through. Talk about strategy. This has played out to perfection here. Behind them, battling Beckner and Brad Slaughter Jr. This is a fierce fight now for 7th as Alex Weaver tries to carve his way through.
And Bowie's going to go for 4th. Just nothing these old tires can do right now. Beckner's in the wall. I think Slaughter might have just, I don't know if you return a favor or Beckner just overdid it. But here comes Weaver as well, as everyone on new tires is now trying to get these positions at the final moment. But what a drive from Euroshack and others.
And Justin Munsell up to 9th. And they're still side by side. Weaver and Slaughter, that's almost contact there for 7th. But for Connor Yurashek, the strategy has paid off. Getting hot at the right time, right before the playoffs. 3 weeks in a row, 3 wins for Connor Yurashek, and he dominates the tail end of the Brickyard. He wins at Indianapolis. Behind him, it's a drag race contact there between Slaughter and Munsell.
I can't even believe what I just saw. That was unbelievable racing these last 20 or so laps. Incredible. I can't believe Yurashek just did that. That's how you get 3 in a row in style.
Wow.
How about Casey Lakatos in third? That is incredible.
That'll
for
be a
him
fun
as well.
interview. That'll be a fun one. Greg Mitchell up in 2nd place as well. And all 3 of the top 4 of the top 5 were drivers that pit on that final pit stop.
Never would have thought that would happen.
Oh, Yurashek celebrating there with his teammate pretty aggressively, I'd say. James Scioli 6th, Jake Nichols 5th. Nichols won that battle to the stripe by 6 1,000ths of a second. Between Brad Slaughter Jr. and Justin Munsell, it was 4,000ths of a second. But Yurashek won by over almost a second.
That's unreal. I mean, came literally out of nowhere. He was in some earlier incidents, so he really was not able to play a factor until the end. He restarted in 13th position. He had to pass other drivers who did take tires. He was not the first driver out on new tires, but he got by them and then just made easy pickings of the leaders.
And there's the checkered flag displayed.
Get Yurashek to sign it.
And that played out to perfection. And who would have thunk? His day was just, I mean, can we go back for a second here? Let's go back and see how the 12's day, I don't even know if I have a replay. Here we go. This is lap 8.
Like, gosh.
Lap 8 of the 75-lap race. I mean, he's crashed here, guys.
He was a lap down after halfway, I'm almost positive, or at least around it. Hell, he started taking the road course like it was over, like he thought his race was done. Came all the way back to win.
Well, I don't think anyone was expecting that one. That was, whoops, wrong. Try that again. Well, guys, that was a wild race in Indianapolis. Wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a lot of green flag running and some strategy, but we saw the strategy play out. Maybe not the green flag, but Connor Urashak, Greg Mitchell, and Casey Lakatos are your podium finishers tonight.
Yeah, definitely not the podium we expected. Casey Lakatos actually ran top 10 a lot of the night, but used the strategy perfection to get the third. The guys who are going to be really upset about how that played out are the guys on the old tires that just tried to hang on. Nichols and Scioli 5th and 6th, Slaughter 8th. Travis Beckner fell back to 10th and all that, while Munsell, Weaver, Bowie, and others also got top 10s out of that on those fresher tires. And after about 10, it was even more of a scramble than it already was, as top 10 separated by about 3.7 seconds.
Yeah, you know, Hunter, the thing that surprised me the most is that we all thought, based on the rest of the race, that, making a call for no tires there at the end and just keeping the track position was the winning call. But clearly, that was proven wrong, and they knew that they could be aggressive and just go right for it, and it paid off in a big way.
Yeah, Scioli was wishing that there'd be quite a bit of cautions there at the very end. Maybe Eric Weiland, too, was running inside the top 5. The last handful of laps just went away with the different strategies coming up through the field. Him, Shane Tyrion on the cusp of that top 10 with Montgomery and Richard Thomas as well. And then you got Furness, who had a strong showing but then got into the wall and cost himself a good bit of spots. Then Alonso, Garcia, Chris Rabel, and Garrett Grant round out the top 20.
Yeah, look down the rest, 21st to 30th here. These are drivers that didn't have the best days. JT Poole was never really a factor, got caught up in some incidents that were none of his own doing. Just got wrapped up in a mess tonight, and that was not a great showing for him. Steve Durham really didn't talk about a whole lot. Bryce Senesac we saw get involved in that wreck very, very late. Cameron Hearn, can't believe that car was even still rolling. And then here's a look down the rest, Connor. Drivers that were out with big crash damage. We saw the 38 just take an absolutely horrific impact there in turn number 4, and some others took some big licks as well.
Yeah, Michael Mohabed had a lot of issues. Bronson Stafford was involved in that issue of Jordan Martin as well. Spencer Brown a wreck earlier. Alan O with 31st place. He needed good points to be in the top 20 for a win to help. Now he's going to need a lot of help, plus a win at Dega. As you could see, everyone who had just horrid nights. Abby Pierce, Philly Obo, Santa Sogak, Danny Ware, Jeremy Miller, Alex Bell, all drivers that were out not even 10 laps in because of that huge turn 1 crash. But one of the drivers that survived was Casey Lakatos through all that.
Yeah, Casey Lakatos, the strategy worked out this time, and just carving through the field like Superman there at the tail end of the race. That was a wild last 7 laps. What was the decision down in the pit lane? Why'd you make that call? And what did it feel like carving through the field like that at the end? That's got to be a feel-good story for the day for you.
You know what? I've not felt great about this season. It's been nothing but terrible. I'm hopeful that I know it's too little too late, but you know what? If we're going to go out much like probably about 3-4 years ago, I'll do it all over again. I'll go drive this thing right through the next through the finish line for a win or whatever it takes. My God, that was a blast to drive. The car felt tight that last run, hence why I went down. I was very concerned for a caution coming out, but I'm so glad to say green, just carving through everybody, making passes wherever I could. It was, I'm glad I call this car Blue Thunder, and man, it really brought the heat and lightning tonight. It was something.
Yeah, I mean, this race was chaotic. I think we all looked at last season's race, which I think had 2 yellows, and said this one would probably be tame, but we saw early on it would not be that way. How tough was it just to keep the fenders on it tonight when it was 2 and 3 wide back there?
Honestly, the car was running really well and just tried to stay up front as much as possible. Every week, I mean, we don't normally qualify well, and we're back in the wrecks and everything, so for once, I'm happy that we could stay away from it. Just the offset strategy with Nichols and Scioli up there. We'd go in 1 lap and then they'd go in and do it the next time we had a caution. I'm glad it cycled out to be in our favor in this case. We really needed that here tonight. I'm glad we stayed away from the back because it looked disastrous back there.
Yeah, it got messy for sure. Casey Lakatos 3rd place tonight in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Congratulations on a top 5 and a 3rd place. We'll see you next week at Talladega. Best of luck there.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You as well. And Greg Mitchell also playing the strategy game, put tires on in the right moment, and carved through the field there at the end. Greg, you were sneaking through there while we were watching Urashak drive up to the front, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's the 2. Where'd he come from? And I bet you felt the same way, but you'll take home a second and some good points to boot.
Yeah, that was really fun. I was just talking with Connor. I was kicking myself a little bit for pitting because I would probably have been about 8th on old tires, and felt like that was gonna work out. And I kind of expected another caution too. So yeah, played the strategy game, took a chance on tires, and wasn't sure how that was gonna play out. But that was really fun. Everyone did a good job zigzagging through traffic and not causing a big one. So that was a good time.
You know, we were talking with Casey about how hectic things got in the midfield to the back of the pack. You started up in 12th, fell as low as 18th, so you're kind of in that midfield all day, but you managed to survive it. How'd you dive around all the incidents and accidents that were happening all day long?
Well, strangely enough, I didn't really see a wreck this week. Usually they're right in front of me and collect me, so that was a nice change of pace. And so yeah, I got to run with, I guess, the front half of the pack for most of the race. I was hoping to get a little bit more green runs, but I would just start to catch people, and then the caution come out. So then we were all on different strategies at that point.
Well, position 2 for car number 2, Greg. Congratulations, and best of luck to you next week at Talladega. We'll see you there.
Thank you. Good to talk to you for once, and like to thank Fazekas and NAI DeLeo Bram, Fame Construction, Flash Picks, and all my teammates, and you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys do a killer job every single week, so thanks for being a part of it.
I appreciate it, Greg, and yeah, it's always nice to chat up here, because if you're talking to us, you had a good day, and you certainly did.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And Connor Urashak goes 3 for 3, and I don't think anybody in here expected it to play out the way that it did, Connor, and I don't even know that you knew it was going to play out that way. We thought for sure the call at the end there was track position, but you came from absolutely nowhere. Started 15th, got involved in a couple crashes, fell as low as 35th, and then you lead the final 5 or 6 laps and win that race. So what happened? Take us through your perspective out your windshield tonight.
Man, I didn't think I would be talking with y'all, but I mean, I had a meatball. My right front wasn't even attached, so I still had wheel damage at the end, but you know, I just got to thank my teammate, man, Travis Beckner, for not letting me leave the session, because I wasn't even going to stay in here, but I was a lap down there for about 50 laps, got my lap back, got the damage fixed, and being last the whole race, like, I just saved a set of tires because it made no sense for me to take, and I had a set at the end, and I was like, oh, I have nothing to lose anyway, and I put it on, and we were just fine. So it's nice to get one like that.
Well, I think we can all agree that that the strategy and circumstances helped you get this one, but the driving at the end contributed to it. You got 3 wins on the season. Scioli's got 4. Are you the favorite now to win the championship?
Man, I wish, but with how the scheduling lines up, like, on Thursdays, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to run very many playoff races, but you know, maybe if I keep getting enough playoff points, I'll get through with one race or something. But I mean, if I could run, I know I'm good enough to win the championship.
Well, we certainly hope that you get an opportunity to run, because it has been a pleasure to watch you race up there at the front. 3 wins in as many weeks, Connor. Congratulations. Enjoy it, and go for 4 next week at Talladega.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling. You guys have a good night.
You as well. All right, guys. Wow. Hunter, I want to start with you on the tail end of the broadcast here. You know, we look at this 12. We look at the success that he's had at the tail end of this season. Is he the favorite now? Or are you still looking at that 7? Because, you know, had the strategy not played out the way it did, maybe we'd be looking at Scioli as getting his 5th win of the season.
100% he is the favorite. I mean, to do 3 in a row, and especially in the fashion that he did tonight, I mean, that proves alone that he can contend for a championship in this series. And he's got 3 wins on the season, looking to tie Scioli with 4 for most on the season. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make it through the playoffs with the way his schedule is on Thursdays, but nonetheless, what an amazing race we saw here at Indianapolis.
Connor?
Yeah, it's going to be a really crazy run to the finish of this season, not just the regular season, but the actual season as well. A lot of that Thursday scheduling is probably going to come down the Road to Pro. A lot of the drivers who are at the top of this series are usually at the top of the Road to Pro charts. So we might see Jake Nichols and Urashak, maybe some other drivers having to skip some Thursdays. That can get crazy as well, but it might not get as crazy as it will be next week at Talladega. let alone all 3 series. This Pro Series, it's got to come down to the wire because we got a tight cut line. Travis Beckner's only 1 point to the good over Clayton Montgomery after tonight. Unofficial points, but that's what it shows right now. Senesac, Munsell are the next drivers below the cut line. And don't forget about David Weishart. He's 14 points below 20th position. And if he gets good enough points, maybe even a win next week to get into that top 20, he's going to steal a playoff spot next week. And it's going to be wild.
From the biggest wins on the calendar to the biggest track on the calendar, Indianapolis is over. Talladega's up next. We'll see you there at the biggest track in North American oval racing next week. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Connor Horn alongside you. We'll see you there.